Welcome to Exponential, a Nexus podcast where we talk about people, code, and capital. I am Daniel McGlynn, and today I talk to Zhang, who is the co-founder and CEO at Pond. We talk about building a platform to support early-stage AI startups and internet capital markets. Hey, Dylan, welcome to Exponential. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Daniel. Good to see you here.
Yeah. I'm really excited to jump in and talk about what you're building at Pond and what that all looks like. But I thought maybe before we start talking about what you're up to, maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where are you calling in from today, and how you got to where you are now, I guess.
Yeah. So it's a good question. So actually, what got us here today is pretty much like initially when we were building Pond, we learned some mistakes as an early stage startup, like everyone does. And we have definitely collected some of the problems we have learned from this journey along the way. And we feel like, initially we were helping data scientists, and gradually we realized why we cannot just leverage the same business model to help early stage AI startups, especially the time when we saw, the vibe coding tools, and we realized actually, the cost of building a AI product is going to be lower and lower, and it's going to be easier and easier. So the team, apparently they're going to be smaller and smaller. So who is going to support this kind of like agile and flexible, productivity structure? So we thought, crypto is a great tool for facilitating anything, with this, agile organization. So that is how we are building this AI marketplace, a marketplace of AI, projects, to help them to distribute and also get funded, to help them scale to either achieve $1,000 ARR, sorry, 1 million ARR, or just attract 100,000 real users from the market.
Cool. So how would you if you had to sort of boil down the pitch for Pond in like into one sentence or maybe two sentences, what's the kind of high level pitch for what Pond is, or how do you explain it to somebody for the first time?
Yeah, so Pond is a AI early stage startup marketplace. So we help AI projects to scale and also get funded. That's the most important part, and the rest, it comes with the infrastructure to lower their DevOps and other like developer burden. But on a high level, that's kind of like what we are doing. We are more like a platform, to bridge the gap between the inefficiency of the illiquid market with a liquid market.
Yeah, maybe you could kind of unpack that a little bit more for us. So what's kind of the need, or like what, I guess a different way to ask it is, what's the problem that Pond is solving? Like, what's the friction right now, and how do you see Pond kind of fitting into to fix that?
Yeah, so if we think about this entire life cycle of an AI product, right? No matter you are a indie developer or you are a small team, if you really want to commercialize your product, what are you going to do? What are you going to face? What kind of resources that you're going to need, right? So the first thing, apparently, you need financial resources, which is the funding itself. Imagine that you are building a very niche product, right? So the future of AI is going to be very bipolarized. It's either you're going to be the open AI who can raise 40 billion to build something very foundational, or you're going to be one of the tens of millions of applications that are leveraging the foundations, as we have seen today.
Yep.
They are tackling all kinds of niche market, like we are using Riverside for this video gen, and we are using Calendly, which is basically just an extension, in a way, to schedule meetings. We'll have more and more AI powered tools for this. So for those tens of millions of applications, especially for niche applications, we all know they have value. We all know they have use cases. But for them to scale, well, how are they going to solve the funding problem at the first place, right? So if you want to ask a market cap for like the first iteration of the Calendly, like how much that we think it worth from the valuation standpoint, like does it worth, for example, $10 million? Maybe not, but if it's below 10 million, is it still venture backable for traditional organizations to invest in them at the first place? I might not have a clear answer, not to mention about how much time you're going to spend on fundraising, as a founder, right? So you gotta, in my case, I travel around the world for a lot of time, for at least 6 times or 6 months or 7 months in
Mm,
a year. Because at the time when I was raising the first check, the first round, actually, it was right after FTX blow up. Nobody was investing anything in the
mm,
market.
yep.
How long is going to take them to do this, right? And how much of the time and the resource are going to take to do this, especially with the acceleration of AI tooling. Everyone can do somewhat similar with what you are doing, right? How you can have an agile funding structure, a more efficient funding structure that allows you to do this from home is one of the needs we have seen, right? So this is one thing to think about it. And the second thing to think about it is, you want to test out your directions. You want to have tractions. This is a lesson that we have learned along the way by ourselves. Like, we think we build a products to solve our needs, but the truth is actually we are solving a problem for users. It sounds very simple, but it takes time. It takes effort to understand what it really means.
Mhm.
Initially, like, so many people, they want to have a very polished product. I feel like, I need to polish this product, and I think people will need it. But the thing is, you are doing it in the opposite way. You should put whatever you have, launch to the market, scale it up, and get a feedback. No matter it's gonna be positive and feedback or negative. Even no feedback is a type of feedback. Nobody's wants to use it, right?
Right, right,
But also at the same time, you need the right distribution, channel for you to do it. Just imagine you are early stage. You have closed your first round, or you haven't closed your first round. It doesn't really matter. But you barely have followers on your Twitter account. How are you gonna reach out to as many users as possible? Like, what kind of distribution channels do you can think of today?
mhm,
If you're building AI, product hunt is likely to be the uh, the end of the distribution, right?
right,
But at the first point that you barely have a product, you barely have an MVP. How are you going to compete with those YC backed products, right? So there's all the hurdles for people to build early stage. Not to mention about along the way that, if just imagine taking a model business, for example, you are leveraging some models and fine tune the model based on specific types of data, or you have exclusive data. You feel like you can do this model well. So from this model, you can have different use cases from that. In that case, you need a lot of like infrastructure. No matter it's going to be data infrastructure, data pipeline, data lake, data warehouse, or some sort of like agent infrastructure. Are you able to afford it, or are you able to build it by yourself? If not, and how are you going to do it by yourself? Like, initially we were training models, and we had to hire a bunch of data engineers. So we have to wait for a few months for this entire data infrastructure to be built, so we can use to start training the model. Not to mention about we not to mention about we'll have to, like, embed the model into different other use cases, right?
right.
So why early stage needs to wait for the infrastructure, need to hire people, that is not the core business model for the application content itself, right? So this is something like we feel like why we cannot have a shareable infrastructure for early stage. So that's the thing that we feel like, you know early stage AI businesses are just like e-commerce vendors 3 decades ago. You
Hmm,
know, we have booming infrastructure, in AI development, in app development. It's just like, back in the day, that those vendors, they have a lot of infrastructure, logistics, warehousing, like transportation. They all advanced to a certain stage, and a railway, or you know, uh, etc. So we'll have a great supply side. Now, what about the demand side, right? So we see early stage AI projects just like vendors for e-commerce. So that's the reason why essentially what we are building is more like an Amazon.
hmm.
Amazon, they provide the infrastructure, they provide distribution for their vendors, and also we are building a platform like Amazon, but we're doing these things for early stage AI projects specifically. So that's kind of like what we are building.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, interesting model. I think that's it's kind of shows that the opportunities are changing as technology changes, and then getting things faster to market. We'll talk about that in a minute. Why that
Uh,
sort of is a necessity and why that speed matters. But before we jump into that, I'm curious. Let's say I have an idea for an AI product or an AI company.
mhm.
What's kind of the flow, or how does it work um, for Pond getting new ideas and then deciding like which of those ideas you're going to support, and like maybe you could just walk us through the basic process of like from that early idea, that first idea, or the first time you hear about a company working on something or a founder working on something to going all the way through the cycle. How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually, the fact is we don't bet on ideas. We bet on, the idea MVPs.
Yeah.
That's on a high level. And also we bet on their go-to-market strategies. That's the two most important factors in our opinion.
Well,
So how we are working on that is, initially we will, have all those projects to fill a form. They will answer some of the basic questions like what is the website, what is your MVP or demo, or the product itself, right? And we ask them to fill this information, and we will go talk to them. We will have a meeting with them, and we understand. Okay, first of all, they are doing something real, and also we will try their product. So from their products, we can understand. Oh, actually, it might be a thing, But the thing is, the product themselves, those products themselves, they are not the decisive factors in our opinion. What decides a a project that can scale and can be successful is really about the distribution. Most of the people don't understand it, but we have learned along the way by ourselves, which is we need to work for users. And users, they should get paid, or at least they didn't have an incentive to use the product, right?
hmm
So, what is the incentive for people to use your product? Like the time when we use TikTok, apparently the incentive is our psychology, right? We're addicted to, watch, this type of things.
the
We want
dopamine
to,
fix. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the incentive. This is the incentive of the users. But
yeah.
if you are not tackling those needs from the human nature, what's the incentive for people to use
Hmm.
what you are using today, right? So then we basically will evaluate what is the systematic design, because lots of people they focus on the functionality of the product. I agree with it, but I kind of feel like everything can be divided into two dimensions. The vertical one apparently they can be the functionality, but the horizontal one is can be the ecosystem, or it can be its distribution, or it can be the sense of understanding the business. Um, I feel like I just want to we will just wanna analyze different other projects doing the initial screening based on those two dimensions, and we put those projects into the community voting, and the community will decide, oh, actually which project that they like the most, they think is more promising. And you can understand that the community voting is a competition, like the competition between different projects, and the community is the judge. Because we found the community is really smart, the market is really smart in our opinion.
And so
um
the committee in this case is like you actually will do that
Users on our
publicly.
platform.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do it publicly. Yeah,
yeah.
we do it publicly. Just let them to choose which one they want to back, and they have voted on different projects, and if one of the projects uh has won, and we put them into what we call seeding stage. So at this seeding stage, for example, if a project is looking for 100,000, or even like 200,000,
Mm.
can they close? If they can close, then they will be launched to the secondary market. The token will be launched to the secondary market. If they cannot, then it's a failed launch. You get nothing out of it. So that's kind of like the current process.
And so all the projects that you're looking at and evaluating, do they all have a token component? That's part of the
Yeah.
what you're talking about with the incentive mechanism, and is that
I think the
high level?
incentive mechanism the comes with the product content itself.
Hmm,
I feel like the product content itself is the one. The rest of the rest of other factors are all zeros. I mean,
hmm.
zeros accelerate the one, but you need the one to be something first, right? It's really about the product content, and this is a charming part of using a token, because just thinking about it in AI, in an AI app, how you're gonna program incentives. you cannot. Like, how you can say, okay, today I use PayPal, I click one button, I get $1 or something, or like I complete a very complicated task, and they give you some incentives in a way, or like you cannot. It's very hard. Not to mention about how you can do this more efficiently
Yep.
than a smart contract itself. The smart contract is really, it has a technical side, it has a financial side. It combines both. It allows you to program the incentive in a way, but it still is what is one of the catalysts. It's not the fundamental. The fundamental is still the product content.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, just to kind of like maybe zoom out from another level beyond what Pond is doing specifically, is just kind of, it sounds like you're playing in this the changing space of internet capital markets and kind of connecting these early startup ideas with capital faster, and then also on the backside, making sure there's that distribution channel in place, and using tokens and tokenomics and smart contracts to kind of connect those early ideas, and kind of rapidly iterate on those. And then there's this interesting component too that you're adding in of like, what you call the committee, or letting the public decide, which is essentially, like you said, is kind of like the market deciding what success or failure might look like kind of early on. So
Okay.
maybe you could just share some thoughts about that. Like, how do you see Pond fitting into this overall internet capital market change, and why do you see that need for speed, or that need for just early ideas connecting with capital sooner?
Yeah. So internet capital market to myself is the liquidity itself. It itself doesn't carry any meaning to me. It's just like there's a pool, or there's a venue, or this is a platform that has liquidity.
Hmm.
That's just it. But for the liquidity to move, or for this liquidity, or any other types of resources to be allocated, you need content in it. Like in our case, the content, they are startups apparently. But the thing is, why they should move to this project, why they should move that project, why they should be allocated to you. This is a matter that we feel like it goes back to the fundamental, like why those projects can be valuable. So for those projects to be valuable, I mean, the apparent consequences are do they have a product market fit? So by having a product market fit, it can go down deeper, which is do they have traction? Do they have, like, for example, real users are using it? Do you feel like you have the product stickiness, or this and that? So do you have a use case? And the second is, do you generate revenue? It's really case by case. Not saying it applies to all of the projects, but at least it's either going to be user traction or generating revenue. Depends on what the business is, right? So all we are doing here as a platform is really about, okay, so first of all, can we attract great projects to work with us? And the second is, can we help them to either generate 1 million ARR or attract 100,000 real users?
Hmm.
That's really what we are doing, because, like, essentially, I feel like a capital market is just a capital market. It's a facilitator, but it doesn't create values. What creates values is really about the productivity side. In our case, the productivity side are the AI products, because they are productive in a way by um, like analyzing the value of the data through machine learning, or they are aggregating some pieces of information together to be more human readable, understandable, or it basically provides a service that everyone can have a need to use it. So that's really goes down into those fundamentals. When we think about things, we have to divide things into pieces that cannot be divided further.
Hmm.
So that's really how we think about things. So I mean, ultimately, I feel like a capital market is about the efficiency, like allocate resources to help things to grow, but it's not the thing itself. So what the thing is in our case is really the products. As long as we have good products, we have a scalable products, the rest will come from the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess just to kind of like um, maybe reiterate this or kind of ask it a different way. So it sounds like that efficiency is really kind of the problem that Pond is solving, because some of the other stuff you mentioned, like, does the product have product market fit, or does it
Mhm,
have a clear distribution channel, or
mhm.
a clear path to those 100,000 first users? Like
Yeah.
those are kind of, I mean, those are problems for businesses or products at kind of any, in any industry, and for, forever. Like that is the problem of launching a startup. So but it sounds like um what Pond is trying to solve for is that efficiency at the very beginning. Does that sound right? Or I'm just
Yeah, that sounds right, but also at the same time, because I feel like the capital market is there, liquidity is there,
yeah.
the capital efficiency is there. It's on Ethereum. It's invented by Vitalik. It's invented by Satoshi Nakamoto. They're all there. But the thing is, we as a platform, we are improving the efficiency for projects. Those projects we work with. It goes back to the example I give, or the analogy that I give. We are basically building Amazon, but in this case, vendors, they are AI projects for us, right? So imagine today you are a vendor. You wanna sell your products to the market. What you are expecting at early stage? You are expecting that I don't need to I don't need to do anything else except for picking the right product to sell,
Yeah.
or at least experiment what the product I can sell well,
Mhm.
right? Nothing else should matter for you at early stage to think about, because the rest has already been handled by Amazon. Amazon helps you to figure out logistics. Amazon helps you to figure out distribution by aggregating users. Amazon helps you to understand your users better than anyone else. By giving you the analytical tools. Um, yeah, so this is all the Amazon's work. And also like as a what Amazon is doing also is it kind of accelerates the success of projects, but also accelerates the failure of the projects. I mean, just because you can previously, it probably take you 3 to 4 months to iterate one version of the product, but now I can allow you to iterate one version of your product each week, or every month, right? So it's gonna be a huge acceleration for those early stage projects. They don't care about anything else except for the application content. Um, so that's kind of like what we are addressing, because that the liquidity efficiency is there. It's waiting for something to deploy, right? We have I don't know how many crypto users we have around the world, but apparently, from this, crypto market we have seen today, there's a lot of liquidity. When we're never short of liquidity in this market, we short of use cases.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it also sounds like just you're kind of using the advantages of Web3 capital, and the efficiencies that Web3 capital kind of bring, or internet, what we were calling before internet capital, um, using that to the full advantage to get these early stage startups like really moving faster. And I'm curious, at the beginning you said that you were working with, or made the decision to work with early stage startups that are working in AI specifically.
hmm
Um, but do you maybe you could just kind of unpack that decision to work with AI specific startups, and do you see it kind of um, morphing beyond that to other kinds of, like, any other sort of verticals or industries that you see that could also benefit from this kind of efficiency?
Yeah. So I would say the right is really with our community. I would say
Mm,
we feel like we want to do what our community wants. The reason why we are focusing on early stage AI startups is just taking Amazon as an example again. Initially, it can only focus on books, right? So we have AI infrastructure, like for now, like we have AI distribution network, we have a very good reputation among AI communities, and we work with top tier AI startups around the world, like 11 Labs, Lovable, and just different other AI giants today. So it's really about our platform is designed in this way to support AI projects, but it doesn't mean that in the future we cannot support other verticals. Like, Amazon doesn't only sell books. Like in our case, we can also do other things. But for now, I feel like because as a platform, you only build something that's universal and generalized for pretty much all the use cases. So our platform has a design in that way. So for now, that's the reason why we support AI projects mostly. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so what do you see, I mean, maybe you could kind of tackle this question in a lot of different ways, but what do you see as the future for Pond? Like, I mean, is it a continual pipeline of early stage startups? Will you eventually kind of grow as your pipeline grows and support companies and projects at other phases of growth in
Mhm.
life? And then also there's like the time element. Like, what do you see happening maybe in the next 6 months and then further out? Like, if you're looking ahead, what kinds of things are you looking at, and what gets you excited?
Yeah. So, well, I think what we are excited is really about, more advancement of AI toolings. Like, gradually, I think, building an app is going to be easier and easier. So that's going to be our tailwind on the AI side. And also, apparently, in the US, especially, we have the legitimacy of crypto as well.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like our crypto tailwind. So if you think about all the technical innovation cycles in the past, it's always going to be two dimensions. One is a productivity dimension. Another one is a scaling dimension. Like, in the era of PC, PC itself is a productivity, and internet is a scaling component of PCs in a way. And also smartphones, similarly, we have mobile internet as a scaling factor for smartphones. And, for SaaS, this software, we have cloud as a scaling, component in it. So from all those, like, scaling set of things or productivity set of things. So we have seen so many, giants like Amazon or, Uber, this kind of platform business, they evolved. Amazon was for PC era, Uber was for smartphone era. I cannot think a SaaS example immediately, but, like Figma maybe, but
Yeah.
might not be the case. But yeah, so I feel like in this age of AI, crypto itself is a scaling component, a scaling technology for AI, honestly, because what can move faster than crypto? We are all in this industry. We know the pace of this industry is, and also the efficiency of this industry. So AI will gradually enter the area that it hits the efficiency, or it has already achieved some level of efficiency like this. And I kind of feel like only crypto can match that efficiency in this case.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you have any like, when you're working with companies or early stage startups, does it happen in cycles? Are there any like calendar moments that anybody listening might be interested in submitting, or working with Pond? Or is it like on a rolling basis, ongoing basis, or like how do you kind of get connected with new ideas and new companies?
Yeah, it's gonna be a rolling basis, honestly. So for now, I think so far we have launched our platform 3 months ago, and in the last 2 months we have received more than 120 applications.
Oh,
But we have rejected to some of them. Um, but gradually, as we have more interest from the market, I think we can maybe do a cohort thing, like let the community decide pre-launch about different projects in a way. So I think that's something that we can also work on gradually, but for now it's a rolling basis.
all right, cool. Awesome. Well, Dylan, thanks for, I think that's all I have today. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you taking the time and kind of walking us
Yeah.
through what Pond is. It sounds like a super exciting idea. We'll definitely keep tabs on it, and hopefully we can do this again down the road, and we can talk about all the lessons learned and all the
Mhm.
new companies launched and take a look back. So thanks again for joining, and I really appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Daniel,
All
and
right.
thank you so much for spending time with me to talk things over.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Exponential. We'll be back next week with another show featuring people, code, and capital. Please like, review, and share Exponential wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to visit app.nexus.xyz to see what we are building.